bar nat the surah and nat bar nat the hitira. So let's see. A secondary nat bar nat taste is weakened, as it were, as it is transmitted from matter to matter, right? So what does it mean? When it is transmitted into another matter, it loses the ability to create non-kosher entity. Therefore, Halachah differentiate between nat bar nat the surah, the secondary prohibited taste. There is a taste that is already prohibited but is merely transmitted from matter to matter, such a potato cooked in a treif pot. Okay, and a nat bar nat dehitira. Okay, the secondary permitted taste. For example, potatoes cooked in a kosher meat pot, which must not only be transmitted. There is two potatoes, but must also be have the ability to create non-kosher entity. For example, when fried in butter. Okay, so let's go to the beginning of this paragraph, and we're going to explain. So because, as I said, we're going to build up on what we said on the previous pages. So again, secondary nat bar nat taste is weakened as it is transmitted from matter to matter. Okay, from matter to matter. Okay, let's see. When it is transmitted into another matter, it loses its ability to create non-kosher entity. Okay, non-kosher entity, but the primary is non-kosher. Let's see. Therefore, Halachah differentiates between nat bar nat the surah, so something like that what created from prohibited substance, and secondary prohibited taste. There is a taste that is already prohibited, but is merely transmitted. So, meaning as somebody, the example that they say, somebody cooked these potatoes in a treif pot, meaning the pot that was used for non-kosher food. Okay, so we differentiate this taste and the taste when we cooked our potatoes in a meat pot. Okay, one is one taste that was transmitted is prohibited to begin with, and secondary and in second example, the taste that was transmitted is permitted taste. There is no problem. But okay, so two different cases. So one more time the whole sentence. Therefore, Halachah differentiate between the nat bar nat, the surah, the secondary prohibited taste. There's a taste that already prohibited, so to begin with, but merely transmitted from matter to matter, such as potato cooked in a treif pot. Right. So from treif pot, it was treif meaning not kosher. What was transmitted into these potatoes. Okay. And nat bar nat the hetera, right? Secondary permitted taste. For example, potatoes cooked in a kosher meat pot. Okay. Okay, so both of these potatoes infused with the taste, but in one case it was infused with forbidden taste. In another case it was infused with permitted taste, with the meat. Okay. Okay, which must not only be transmitted. For example, two potatoes, but must also have the ability to create non-kosher entity. For example, fried in butter. Okay, so meaning what? That in some senses, we're going to see in some examples, we'll see that if somebody would fry these potatoes that were cooked in a meat pot, they would be absolutely forbidden, right? But if he wants to fry them in butter. Okay. So now we're going to go different cases. So number one, nat the surah, meaning that when forbidden taste was transmitted into the food. When forbidden food transmitted their taste, no distinction is made between primary and secondary infusion. The taste is treif and conveys its treif status into the food into which it is absorbed. Example: a non-kosher food is cooked in a pot. The pot is treif. Any kosher food cooked in that pot within 24 hours becomes a treif as well. If the food is then cooked in another pot, the taste is passed to the second pot, which now also become treif. So let's look at this example one more time. So we're talking about this forbidden taste one more time, and we're going to explain. When forbidden foods transmitted the taste, no distinction is made between primary and secondary infusion. Right? Primary infusion meaning what? That two foods were cooked together, kosher food and non-kosher food, right? Or it was secondary infusion, meaning that we cook our piece of meat in a non-kosher pot. So we're not talking about dairy pot, not kosher pot. For whatever it was used, okay. It's somebody else's pot, or somebody, like we have a guest that cook non-kosher food in that pot. So this food, and again, this we were talking about the pot that was used in the last 24 hours. That's don't forget. The taste is treif, and conveys the treif status onto the food onto which it is absorbed. So all of the foods, whether they cook together, like non-kosher food and kosher food cooked together, or we cooked kosher food in benyama pot, like that was used in the last 24 hours, that was clean but was used for a non-kosher food, they say this food is going to be forbidden, okay, for us. Example, one more time. A non-kosher food is cooked in a pot. Even in our pot, it was good, right? But okay, the pot is treif. So now we have to kosher the pot, right? We've actually spoke in the previous paragraphs, chapters, in the previous chapters. So if non-kosher food was cooked in our pot, so we don't have to throw out the pot. We can just kosher. That's it. Any kosher food cooked in that pot within the 24 hours, again 24 hours, becomes treif as well. So the food that they cooked in that pot becomes treif, meaning that it is not kosher, forbidden to us. If this food is then cooked in another pot, so they took food for, okay, so I would say the most, like in my mind, like example, the most practical example, they cooked something and then now they want to fry it, right? First they cook this spaghetti, and now they want to put it on the frying pan and fry with vegetables. And this, right? So this spaghetti would pass this non-kosher taste into this frying pan, right? If the food is then taken to another pot, the taste that is passed on the second pot, which now becomes treif. So now this our frying pan, in the example that we just gave, becomes also not kosher, treif. So we have to kosher it as well.